Narayana namaskritya Narayana narottama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nastapaye Swabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Vede Ramani Chaiva Purane Bharate Tata Hadancha Mahadicha Hari Sabhata Giyate Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangu Langrate Giri Yakripataham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhava Dhamma Prajita Kaidabota Paramoni Mashram Satan Vedam Vastavam Atavastu Shvadan Tabatayamo Lanam Shima Bhagavate Mahamanekinte Ki Varam Ishwara Sadyoridi Habaruta Treta Kribita Kishanan Negama Kapatalu Kalitam Falan Sukamu Kandrava Sambutan Pibaktam Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Mahura Sika Bovi Bhavaka Atoyam Brahmasutranam Paratata Veninaya Gayatri Bhasarupo Shovidata Paribrimita Sabhaviditi Asanam Saram Saram Paribrimita Sabhavidanta Saram Hi Sri Bhagavatam Mishyate Tarashamita Satiftasya Nanyatasya Rati Kuchit Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are continuing the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, chapter 9. And today we're going to read from text number 18 to text number 28. This is the dynasty of Ansuman. This is from the Sun dynasty, the dynasty by which Lord Ramachandra made his appearance. From Suryavamsa. Suryavamsa is there are two genealogies. We have Chandravamsa and then there is Suryavamsa. So Lord Ramachandra came through Suryavamsa, through the genealogy starting from the sun god, and Lord Krishna came from Chandravamsa, a dynasty coming from moon god. So we have been reading about the descendant of King Ishwara. So these soldiers who had been caused to become a Rakshasa, he had been caused to become a man-eater. Normally there are ordinary demons, and then there are the real demons who actually eat human beings, the Rakshasas. Usually not every demon eats human beings. They just have demoniac qualities. But some demons, some mighty demons, they eat human beings. So they are called Rakshasa. So soldiers, he was a great king. Somehow, due to mistake of Vasishta was his guru. So Vasishta, he caused soldiers to become a Rakshasa. Even though not because of his fault, but somehow Vasishta Rishi, he made this mistake. This we are read in the beginning of the chapters, of this chapter. So now, soldiers had become a Rakshasa, and he had to be a Rakshasa for 12 years. For 12 years, he has to be a Rakshasa, and then during that time, he came across, when he was wandering in the forest, he came across a Brahmana who was engaging in copulation, sexual intercourse, with his wife. So during that particular moment, he had the urge to eat someone. He developed this urge to eat someone. So he went to capture this Brahmana, to kill him, to eat him. Of course, we have these stories in the Bhagavatam. This is all, of course, this is all Puranic stories. These many stories are there in the Purana. And many of these stories, they're like far-out stories. Especially, we will read about the, people eating flesh, animal flesh. Even the Brahmanas, the rishis, they will often eat fresh, the animal fresh. And sometimes, in some situations, we will find human sacrifice, by which, we will find to be very abhorring. That how can there be human sacrifice? This is crazy. Of course, this is something you will find among the lower modes of nature. The lower modes of nature, whereby people, they will engage in all kinds of sacrifices. The notion of animal sacrifice or the eating of animal flesh, of course, this is not something that by which people in the higher stage of consciousness they will engage in. Just like in Krishna consciousness, we have our 4 regulatory principles, and one of those 4 regulatory principles is not to eat meat. There's one of the 4 regulatory principles. And Lord Krishna himself, he said in the Bhagavad-Gita that Patra Pushpam Phalam Toyan Yome Bhakta Prajachati, that if one offer me flour, fruits, water, vegetables, I will accept. So Lord Krishna never said that we offer him flesh. But you will find these stories in the Vedas that many personalities, even the rishis, the brahmanas, they will eat animal flesh. Even among the Pandavas, Bhima was eating animal flesh. So because he was a Kshatriya, and the Kshatriyas, they are allowed to eat animal flesh. They are allowed to eat meat. But in the Vedic scriptures, even though the regulation is there to eat meat, human flesh, even though the regulation is there, but there is no such a thing as organized slaughterhouse. Such a thing is never there, because usually if a king wants to eat animal flesh, then he has to go to the forest and kill the animals in the forest. And such animals, they cannot be defenseless animals. These are the animals who are like wild animals themselves, like wild boars, animals who are very, very fierce, tigers, lions. Those are the animals that the Kshatriya is supposed to engage in battle with. Then he's allowed to eat them. But in this Kali Yuga, things become so degraded that these regulations are no longer being practiced correctly. So much so that the animals, they were being killed recklessly and using the Vedic mantras as a pretext. And that's why the Lord, he had to incarnate himself as Lord Buddha to stop all kinds of animal killings. Okay, no more animal killing. And he said that if you want to justify the Vedic scriptures for the basis of killing of animals, for this justification, therefore, forget the Vedas. No, don't study the Vedas. So Lord Buddha, he rejected the Vedic scriptures. On that basis alone, even though it's an incarnation of the Lord, and the Lord, normally when the Lord incarnates, he normally incarnates to propagate the teaching of the Vedic scriptures. But Lord Buddha, he had a mission to stop the animal sacrifice, and because the people, they were using the Vedic scriptures for the purpose of their animal sacrifice. So he said, okay, so he rejected the Vedic scriptures. He rejected it. And then he introduced his own teaching, which ahimsa, this non-violence, which he introduced. So we should not, so this, especially in this age of Kali, things like animal sacrifice is completely forbidden. And of course, we have ample amount of vegetables to eat. So humanity really do not need to be eating animals, to be eating flesh, And of course, if one is in a very extreme circumstance, let's say you are in a desert, or let's say you are in a place where there's no vegetables available whatsoever. There's nothing available, and you are on the verge of dying. If what is available is only fish or meat, then you can eat that. There's a provision for that. There was a time when Vishwamitra, he was in a circumstance whereby there was a famine in the whole country. There was a big famine. For 12 years there was no rain. Everything dried up. No vegetables, nothing available whatsoever. And everyone was starving. Everyone was starving. Even people have to come to be killing each other and be eating each other. Things come to that extent. There was nothing available on the planet. And so Vishwamitra, so he found himself in a very, very situation whereby he was starving and he needed to maintain his body. Even though he was a great rishi himself, but he needed to maintain his body. So he reasoned that, okay, either I die or I find some way to maintain my body. So that time he found a dog which had been killed. He said, well, the only way for me to maintain my body is to eat this dog flesh. Even though that time, when he went to the dog eater, the Chandala, to try to take this dog meat from the person who had killed the dog, and this person was telling him that, oh, you're a great rishi, you're a great sage. Why do you want to engage in this abominable, sinful reaction to eat animal flesh, especially dog flesh? Why do you want to do that? So, of course, Vishwamitra, he had to taught this fellow a lesson that you don't know the principle of religion. So how can you know what is to be done and what is not to be done? In time of necessities, what needs to be done has to be done in time of necessity. So therefore, what's available in this particular time is this dog flesh, dog meat. So therefore, he ate the dog meat. And of course, being a great sage, so he had to engage himself in sacrifices, austerities, to purify himself of that sinful reaction of eating a dog meat. So many provisions are there in the scriptures. So nonetheless, he became affected by this curse of Vashishta Muni. He was caused to become a Rakshasa. So, being caused to be a Rakshasa, and he found this Brahmana, which to him, this Brahmana is like a food for him. So he decided to kill the Brahmanas and to eat the Brahmana. So during this time, the Brahmana's wife started was pleading to him that, please do not kill my husband. So I will just read the few verses before today's verse. I'll read a few verses from text number 18. So text number 18. Tata sudasta putro damayanti patin nipa aho mitra saham yamvai kama sangriuta kwachit vashishta saparakshobud anapacha sakhamana. Sabakama had a son named Sudas, whose son, known as Soldas was the husband of Damayanti. Soldas is sometimes known as Mitrasaha or Kalmashapada. Because of his own misdeed, Mitrasaha was sonless and was caused by Vashishta to become a man-eater, Rakshasa. Text number 19. Rajavacha kim nimito guru sapa sodasasa mahatmanaham etabe tutuni chamaha katayata narao yadi. Translation. King Parikshit said, O Sukadev Goswami, why did Vashishta, the spiritual master of Soldas, cause that great soul? I wish to know of this. If it is not a confidential matter, please describe it to me. Text 20-21. Se Sukavacha Sodaso Migayan Kinchit Charam Rakso Jaganiha Momocha Brataram Sota Gata Prati Chikishaya Sanchitanyan Nagan Ragyan Sudarupa Darogrihe Gorave Bhaktukamaya Pakwaniye Naramisan. Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, once Soldas went to live in the forest, where he killed a man-eater, but forgave and released the man-eater's brother. That brother, however, decided to take revenge. Thinking to harm the king, he became the cook at the king's house. One day, the king's spiritual master, Vashishta Muni, was invited for dinner, and the Rakshasa cook served him human flesh. So the Vashishta Muni, so he went to the house of his disciple, King Soldas, for a dinner, and the cook, because he wanted to take a revenge on the king who had killed his brother. So the king, he had killed a human being and served the human being, the human flesh, to Vashishta Muni. However, Parivikshamaha Bhagavan Bilokshamak Bhakshan Jasa Rajanang Ashapa Kroldo Rakshoyevam Bhavishyati. While examining the food given to him, Vashishta Muni, by his mystic power, could understand that it was unfit to eat, being the flesh of a human being. He was very angry at this, and immediately caused Soldas to become a man-eater. So he caused him to become a Rakshasa himself. Text 23-24. Raksha Kritanta Viditva Chake Dwadasa Bashikam Swapya Panjali Adaya Gurum Saptum Samudyata Varito Madayan Chiapo Rusati Padayo Jahu Deshankam Abadim Saban Pashan Jiva Mayan Nipaha. Translation. When Vashishta understood that the human flesh had been served by the Rakshasa, not by the king, he undertook 12 years of austerity to cleanse himself for having caused the faultless king. Meanwhile, King Soldas took water and chanted the Sapa mantra, preparing to cause Vashishta. But his wife, Madayanti, forbade him to do so. Then the king saw that the 10 directions, the sky, and the surface of the globe were full of living entities everywhere. Text 25. Rakshasam babanam apalnam pade kama satam gataha Vyavasa Kaliyada Drishe Vanako Dampati Dijao. Sodas thus acquired the propensity of a man-eater and received on his leg a black spot, for which he was known as Kama Sapada. Once King Kamasapada saw a Brahmana couple engaged in sexual intercourse in the forest. Text 26 to 27. Shudato jage vipran tapatni ahankita tabat nababan rakshasa sakshat ikshrakina maharata madayan trichapati vira nadama katmarasi deheme patakamaya akitatam patindujam. Translation: being influenced by the propensity of a Rakshasa and being very hungry, King Sodas seized the Brahmana. Then the poor woman, the Brahmana's wife, said to the king, "Oh hero, you are not actually a man-eater. Rather, you are among the descendants of Maharaj Ikshwaku. Indeed, you are a great fighter, the husband of Madayanti. You should not act irreligiously in this way. I desire to have a son. Please, therefore, return my husband, who has not yet impregnated me." Because normally in the Vedic times, when people, especially the saintly householders, when they engage in sexual intercourse, they do so only for the purpose of progeny, not for any other purpose, not for any just enjoyment. So the Brahmana was about to engage in sexual intercourse with his wife so that he can produce a son, but the king immediately seized him to kill him, to eat him. So that's wanted to eat these Brahmanas. So the wife of the Brahmana was pleading that, "Don't do this. You are a great king. You are the descendant of King Ikshwaku, the great saintly kings, who are actually the dear devotees of the Lord. So how can you do not act this way?" But the fact is, Sodas, he had been caused to become a Rakshasa by Vasishtha Muni. So once you are caused by a great sage, this cause is like a magnet. It sticks to you. You just have to act according to that nature. So this is the situation. But the wife of the Brahmana was pleading that, "Please, do not commit this sinful act of killing my husband, and especially when my husband has not yet impregnated me." So text 28, by which is on the board, we can all chant this text. Deho Nyam Manuso Rajan Purusha Ashakila Akila Atada Tasmad Asya Vada Vira Sabatabadha Uchate Dehoya Manusurajan Purusasha Kilatada Tasmo Mashabado Vira Sabatabada Uchate Deha, body, I am this, Manusaha, human, Rajan, O king, Purusasya, of the living beings, Akila, universal, Attadaha, beneficiary, Tasmat, therefore, Asya of the body of my husband. Vadaha, the killing. Vira, O hero. Sabata Vadaha, killing all beneficial opportunities. Uchyate, it is said. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. O King, O hero, this human body is meant for universal benefits. If you kill this body untimely, you will kill all the benefits of human life. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunayenu Manusya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nabhajiya Janaya Sunaya Bisa Koina. The body of a human being is extremely valuable because in this body one can understand the instructions of Krishna and attain the ultimate destination of the living entity. The living entity is within the material world to fulfill the mission of going back home, back to Godhead. In the material world, one hankers for happiness. But because one does not know the ultimate destination, one changes bodies one after another. However, if one gets the opportunity to possess a human form of body, in this body, he can fulfill the four principles of Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha. And if one is properly regulated, he makes further progress after liberation to engage in the service of Radha and Krishna. This is the success of life, to stop the process of repeated birth and death and go back home, back to Godhead, Mameti, to be engaged in the service of Radha and Krishna. Therefore, taking a human body is meant for completing one's progress in life. Throughout human society, killing of a human being is taken very seriously. Hundreds and thousands of animals are killed in slaughterhouses, and no one cares about them. But the killing of even one human being is taken very seriously. Why? Because the human form of body is extremely important in executing the mission of life. Gurave Gurachindaya, Radhikaya Tadalaya, Krishnaya, Krishna Bhaktaya, Tabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Agena Tremendasya Gananganan Salakaya, Chakshmita Yinatasma Shri Guru Namaha. Namamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Patulishmati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Sasati Devi Gauravani Pacharine. Nevisisa Snebadi Paschati Dastarine. Vanchakapa Tribuscha Kripa Sindhyabacha Patitana Pavana Bhuvashna Bhunamo Namaha. So, Dehoyam Manusurajan Purusasya Kilartadaha Tasmasya Vadovavira Sabata Vada Uchate. O King, O hero, this human body is meant for universal benefits. If you kill this body untimely, you will kill all the benefits of human life. And of course, Srila Prabhupada gave a very important comparison of how valuable the human form of life is, the human form of body is. And of course, we've heard again and again that yes, in the human form of life, this is the only form by which one can attain self-realization. It's not possible in any other forms. Even the example here given that every day there's so much killings of animals is there that goes on every day. Nobody cares about it, but one killing of a human being is a big affair, is a big issue. So, because the human form is the most important form of all species, there are 8.4 million species of life, and the human form of life is the most important. We all know that. And especially, it's the only form by which God realization is possible. It's not possible in any other form of life. It's very, very rare that the jiva who is trapped in other forms of life, especially animalistic form of life, it's very, very rare that such forms take to the path of God realization. It's very, very rare circumstance. Except if you're like Bharat Maharaj, when he became a deer, still he was able to remember his previous life as a devotee, even though while in the body of a deer, he remained a devotee. Or Gajendra, he was previously a grey king, and then he became an elephant. But while in the body of an elephant, and then when he was in a great distress, he was able to remember the Supreme Lord, and I was able to chant the prayer which he had learned previously when he was in the human form of life. So that is a very, very extreme circumstance, very, very rare circumstance, that a living entity in the lower forms of life can be able to remember God. It's just almost impossible. But it's only in the human form of life that the process of self-realization is possible. However, if we have this human form of life and we don't take advantage, then, as Nautam Das Thakur said, that I'm like a person, Janayasu Naya Bisaka, I've simply drink poison, knowingly drinking poison, because the purpose of human life is to serve Radha and Krishna. There's just no other purpose. In the 11th canto Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavad-Gita section, so Lord Krishna was instructing Uddhava about this point. So the Lord said, Sistra Purana Vidani Ayatma Saktya Vrikam Sarispa Pasukaga Danda Shukam Taista Atusta Hidaya Purusam Vidaya Brahma Baloka Disanam Muda Apadevaha. So he said, the Lord said that the Supreme Lord first created, with the help of his energy, Maya Shakti, he created trees, insects, animals, birds, reptiles, and so on. And yet, he was not satisfied. So the Lord created all kinds of living entities. So the Lord was not satisfied. Finally, the Lord created the human body, which offers the conditioned soul sufficient intelligence to realize him, and thus he became pleased. So the Lord is only pleased by the creation of human form of life. He wasn't pleased when he created all other lower forms. Because when the human form, a person can understand God, can realize God. The sufficient intelligence is there. The development of consciousness is there. Otherwise, other forms of life, such consciousness is just not there. So, it mentioned by Srila Vishnu Chakravartipad that this human form of body, which can award one liberation, was created by the Supreme Controller. Therefore, one should not misuse this body and go to hell. It is described in this verse, after creating various types of body, the Supreme Controller was not satisfied, and so he finally created the human body, considering it suitable for awarding the conditioned soul the opportunity to regain its association. So it is stated in the Vedas that after creating the human form of body, the Supreme Lord achieved immense happiness. So in the Vedas, it's stated in the Vedas, Tabyo gam anayata abruvan navayo yam alamiti, Tabyo sun anayata abruvan navayo no yam alamiti, Tabya purusan anayata abruvan sukritam bhata. that after creating various types of bodies, the Lord called for a cow and asked, "Do you know the Supreme Lord?" She replied, "No, I cannot understand who is the Supreme Lord." Then the Lord called a horse and asked it the same question. The horse gave a similar reply. Then the Lord called for human beings and asked them the same question. They replied, "We will know you by your mercy." You see? So this is the thing here. This is from this quotation. It's coming from the Aitareya Upanishad, that we can understand the Lord only when we are in the human form of life. Again, the Lord further says in Bhagavatam chapter 9, it is 11th canto 9:29. So the Lord said, "Labdesu dulaban idam bahu sambhavante, manusham atadam anityam apiyadhira, chunam yateta napate anu mritu yavan, nisyasasya vishayaklu savatasyat." After many lifetimes in lower species, one achieves the rare human form of life. Although temporary, the human body gives one the opportunity to attain the perfection of life. One who is not actually intelligent should try to attain this perfection of life as long as the body remains healthy. After all, sense gratification is available in all the other species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness can only be cultivated by a human being. So, on the opinion of Srila Vishnu Chakravarti, he said, although this body is temporary, it awards eternal benefit. Therefore, one should try to attain the supreme consciousness as long as the body is functioning properly. One should know for certain that the body is born, then dies, and then again one accepts another birth, which are all temporary. So the sense enjoyment is available, which is available in the human form of life. It's also available for ox, dogs, and all kinds of forms. So therefore, what is the difference between the human form and the other forms of life, especially the animal forms? What is different? The difference is that, as mentioned earlier, that it's not possible to understand God in the other forms of life, but it's only possible only when there's a human form of life. Even in the higher bodies, even in the demigod's body. So why is it not being mentioned here that the demigods cannot realize God? After all, the demigod's body is much more higher in consciousness than the human form of life. It's much more higher. The fact is that in demigod's body, one attains that body for the purpose of a bigger enjoyment. And because one is so much steeped in so much enjoyment, the consideration of understanding what is higher, what is beyond, it's not just there, it's very minimum. Because when one is a higher planet, there, the body is always youthful, there is no disease, there is no suffering in the higher planet. There's just so much enjoyment is there that we just unending enjoyment, unending enjoyment. And because one lives for such a long period of time, like for instance, Indradev, he lives for like some 36, what is it? For 360 million years, the lifetime of Indradev. So he lives for a long period of time. That the consideration of it there's going to be death, that is not there. Only the time when they are attacked by the demons, that the demigods start becoming afraid when there's a demoniac attack. Even when they are attacked by the demons, Lord Vishnu is always there to protect them, you see. So therefore, when one is in the demigod's body, it just, trying to think of self-realization, it's just also is practically impossible because there's just so much enjoyment is there. You know, it's only when one come down to this planet, whereby one attains the human form of life, because the human form of life, you know, the enjoyment is just very minimal enjoyment. It's so tiny. And whatever kind of enjoyment you have, there's always corresponding misery is always there. You may have everything. You may have everything, but still, the underlying misery is always there. One may have all kinds of material necessities. You know, just like in the past, years, we heard of so many celebrities who have everything, but they have to commit suicide. They kill themselves. Why is somebody becoming depressed and kill themselves, even though they have everything, they have all the money, whatever, all the fame, they still kill themselves. So which means the material body the human body is just not meant to give one the real satisfaction. It's not meant to give one the real relief. But the human body has one purpose. The purpose is self-realization. The purpose is God-realization. And if one attains the human form of life and does not use that to develop God consciousness, then such a person is just not better than us, an animal. It's called pasugna. Pasugna means the killer of the self. A person who does not utilize the human form of life to cultivate Krishna consciousness, to hear Krishna Katha, such a person is a killer of his own self. Because the human form of life is given only for that purpose, not for any other purpose. So therefore, Naughton Das Thakur say, Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunayena, Manusya Janama Paya, Radha Krishna na Bhajaya, Janaya Sunaya Bisakayana, that, oh my dear Lord, this human form of life, which is very difficult to attain. I've attained this human form of life, but I've not used this opportunity to worship you. I've not used this opportunity to render service to Radha and Krishna. So what is my condition? I'm just like a person who has simply knowingly drink poison. Knowingly. It's like if I have this cup of water and it's full of poison is there, and somebody says, Ishwara, drink this cup of water, and this cup is full of poison, so drink it. If I say, oh, thank you very much, and I drink it, this is our situation here in this world. We are knowingly, even though we have been given so much information of the bliss that is there in rendering service to Radha and Krishna, still we are not taking it. Or sometimes we may get spiritual knowledge, we may have some spiritual instruction, and we say, oh, let me wait until the end of my life. When I become very old, where I can no longer enjoy myself, at that time I can take to Hari Bhajan. When I know that I can no longer enjoy myself, I'm about to die, okay, that time I will take to Krishna consciousness. But somebody who is in higher consciousness will not think that way. Marakatwanga was a person. Marakatwanga, he was a great king. And he was for many years, he was fighting for the demigods for many years. And demigods, they were so pleased with him, they told him to ask for a benediction. Because the demigod, they can give any benediction that he wants. Enjoyment, longevity, anything. So they asked him to ask for benediction. So Marakantor replies, okay, before I ask for benediction, how much time do I have to live in this body? So demigod, they look at their computer, they say, oh, you have just 1 moment to live. I say, oh, really? Then, if I have only 1 moment to live, I want to dedicate myself only to the Hari Bhajan. So you bless me to become a devotee of Krishna and to remain engaged in the devotional service. That is a real benediction, not that the so-called material necessities, material, enhancement. Because the body is temporary, so any possession that you may have, that is also temporary. Any possession that you may have. In this world we are so much busy trying to accumulate so much wealth, without accumulating the real wealth, which is the wealth of love of God, love of Radha and Krishna, and all this wealth which eventually perish. But we are so much captivated by that. And eventually, we have to die eventually. We have to die. So, there's a story. So one time, let's see how much time do I have? Oh, not so much time. That's a very nice, beautiful story. But I don't think I have enough time to narrate the story. So, nonetheless, the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had sung, he composed a prayer also, Dulaba Manava Jama, that this human form of life is very, very rarely attained. Dulaba Manava Jama, Labya Samsare, Krishna Naba Jinaduka, Koyibo Kahare. He said, this of attaining this rare human birth in the material world, very rarely attained. But I have not worshipped Sri Krishna. To whom shall I tell my sorrows? This is a great calamity that we have attained this human form of life, but we haven't utilized it to do Radha Krishna bhajan. So this is a great sorrow. He says, Samsara kore miche gelo gaha, labana lohilo kichu gachilo janjal. That by my engaging in worldly activities, time has passed in vain. Time was no benefit, rather only trouble arose. Kishera samsara he chaya bhaji praya, hiyate mamata kore brita dina jai. What kind of word is this? It is like a magic lantern show, full of shadows and illusions. By my being attached to this world, days pass by in futility. So, then he said, when this body dies, what will remain mine? No one, including my sons, family members, will be able to give me happiness. What is there? So therefore, this is the instruction of the acharyas, the great Vedic masters, the scriptures, that the human form of love has been given to us for this opportunity only, and we should use it. We should seize the opportunity. And it's not that we have to wait till we become old. Like Kulakesha was praying that, my dear Lord, now that my body is functioning properly, everything is functioning now, let me engage fully in your service. Because when I become old, the body is affected by so much diseases, it's so much pain. It's difficult to think of you. So which means the time to be Krishna conscious is now that we are healthy. The body is functioning. This is when to become Krishna conscious. This is when to practice Krishna consciousness. Not that when you become old. Because when you become old, it's very difficult. Difficult to remember Krishna. Difficult. But it's easier when the body is healthy. So I'm going to stop here. If there is questions or comments by their privileges. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This Vishwamitra, you said that he ate the flesh of the dogs.
Yeah.
So we can understand that Munis, Rishis, by the mystic power, they can create so many things.
Mm-hmm.
They could definitely have produced food for himself.
Yeah.
So why did he not do that and instead eat the flesh of the dogs?
Well, this story just illustrates that sometimes in terms of necessities, when there's just nothing else available, to maintain oneself, one can break the so-called Vedic rules for the purpose of bodily maintenance. So it's not that the scriptures, they totally forbid such things as meat eating. If there is acute necessity, it just to illustrate that fact. And of course, somebody like Vishwamitra Muni, even though he had the body of a dog, he had the dog flesh, but at the same time also he was able to engage in sacrifices to purify himself of such. He was able to engage in sacrifice. But this narration is just to illustrate to us the time of necessities. Something that one may not like to do, sometimes one may have to do that in terms of necessity. In some of the Prabhupada's instructions, you will find out also that, okay, rules and regulations are there, but sometimes some things can just be done. If you're in a country, you are preaching, if you're in a country, and there's no food, only fish is available, you can eat fish. Prabhupada said that. Is that correct, Prabhupada? So, when they were in Russia, Prabhupada was in Russia, and there was no food available. Of course, they did not eat that, but Prabhupada was, he said that to the effect that if you're in a place where there's just nothing's available, it just, that's only for the extreme circumstance. Huh? Is it? Okay. Should you probably want to say something?
Yeah, you have to be careful to use that as an excuse. There is a big complex where there was a 4th of July party, and my granddaughter, who's been vegetarian all her life, made a whole bunch of vegetable preparations.
Mm-hmm.
Husband's family is Seventh-day Adventists, they're all vegetarians, so she made 5 vegetarian ones. They made 8 vegetarian ones, and some Indian people actually came from Mathura. They went to the meat table and only ate the meat, and she says, "Why are you eating meat?" They said, "Well, it's hard to find vegetarian food in America." And she says, "I'm 28 and I've never eaten meat, and we have 13 preparations on the other table."
Mm-hmm.
So quite often people use this as an excuse.
Yeah.
And that's why I say in rare circumstances, because there's always something you can find.
Exactly. And that's why I mentioned the fact that that's why the Lord Buddha came to stop, no animal sacrifice.
Just in case it ends up being done before.
I mean, that's a very, very extreme circumstance. This narration, of course, you find in the Vedic scriptures.
Surprised how many Indian people come to America and say that.
Yeah, that's just an excuse. That's just an excuse.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly, You wanted to ask a question? This Mataji here.
How one can understand if he or she attained the Krishna consciousness?
Well, it's just like, if you are thirsty or you're very hungry, if you eat food, you know when your stomach is full. If you're thirsty, you drink water, you know when your thirst is being quenched. So we should be able to tell when we are becoming Krishna conscious by, we should be able to know. That is there. Because Krishna consciousness is not something vague that you cannot know your level of your advancement. Normally, the more enthusiastic we become in hearing and chanting, the more enthusiastic we have, the more attached we have to the holy name, the more taste that we develop we have in hearing and chanting, in devotee association. So that will tell the level of our advancement. But if somebody because Krishna consciousness is beyond rules and regulations, there's a time where everything becomes spontaneous, whereby you become spontaneously want to chant. You want to chant Krishna's name. It's no longer based on chanting 16 rounds. You don't want to stop chanting because Krishna's name is so sweet. You don't want to chant in Krishna's name. You want to hear Bhagavatam or Krishna Katha, you just want to hear about Krishna. You just want to hear. And nothing will forbid, nothing will prevent you in this world from such hearing. So this is how you can measure your advancement. But somebody else will say, go to class. If you say, I have so much to do, I cannot go to class. Have you finished your okay, let me try to finish. No, if we are so much constrained by so many things, so which means, we are still, the advancement is very, very limited that way. So in this way, we should be able to measure our advancement by which how much we are becoming attached to the process of hearing and chanting the Lord's name. Okay, is that okay?
How one can understand if he is attached to Krishna?
If you can understand that, you should be able to know that. That's what I said, when you drink water, you should know when your thirst is being quenched. Nobody has to tell you. That you should feel when you are in love with someone. How can you know if I love this person or not? You know, attachment to Krishna is just like it's comparable to the attachment that a lover and the beloved feel within each other. You know, when you are having a love for someone, you know, oh, I love this person so much, and everything about that person just increases your love of that person. So this should be able to feel within yourself. The only things that we should not take Krishna to be the object of our sense gratification. We are meant to serve Krishna. We are meant to give Krishna all enjoyment. Krishna is not meant to serve us. We are meant to serve Krishna. Like Srila Bhaktivedanta always say that we should always see ourselves as someone who's to serve Krishna, not that someone who's to be served by Krishna. So the more we think about that, the more we will see ourselves. Just like when the mirror is full of dots, full of cloud, the more you clear the mirrors, the more you will see the clarity of yourself in the mirror, like that. So this is the thing, okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Bhagavatam ki, Gopi Manande. Hare Krishna.